So let's take a look at this 3DS I ordered off of eBay. And to be more specific, I did order a new 3DS XL, and there's a couple of different reasons for that. First and foremost, it is one of the newer 3DSs, so it probably held up extremely well, at least compared to the older systems, because as you know, those are aging by now, whether you get the original 3DS, whether you get the original 2DS or the original 3DS XL. So I was like, yeah, I'm not too sure if I want to buy an older system where the battery may be a little bit older, maybe the system may be slightly more damaged. So I'm like, yeah, let me get either one of the new 3DS XLs or maybe the new 2DS XL because they're practically the same. But overall, I decided to get the new 3DS XL just because it has all the features. It's not missing 3D. And a reason I did pick this up also is the fact that I am going to be doing the homebrew scene. And if you're thinking about doing the homebrew scene with the 3DS, I highly recommend either going with the new 3DSs or the new 2DS just because they have a little bit more horsepower under the hood, and in some instances some stuff that you do with homebrew will only work on the new 2DS and new 3DS lines, so that's why I decided to go with that. Now overall with this one I did end up paying about 85 US dollars, and the seller did state this comes with no games, no charger, but it does come with some type of case, and I'm not sure what type of case this comes with, so it'll be very interesting to see how this was packaged and how this came shipped to me. It's always a mixed bag. When you go to eBay, you really never know what you're going to get, even if the seller already states in their listing what they are going to be selling, because you never know if they're going to lie or anything like that. So let's go ahead and open this up. I already removed all the labels on the package so you don't see any shipping information. Also, you can see this seller in particular did decide to use an Amazon bag for whatever the case may be. I guess that's all they had, and they have some yellow tape on it, but let's go ahead and actually get rid of the tape. Now, I've never opened this yet, so this is going to be my first time opening this package. So let's actually see what's inside of it. It looks like there is a system, and it looks like the system inside of the package is the 3DS, and it looks like it was bubble wrapped pretty good. Here's the 3DS right here, and the one that I did get from eBay is the black color of this system. I didn't get the red one just because this was really the only one I found for a reasonable price, and I'm honestly not too picky when it comes to color, but here it is right here in pretty good bubble wrap, I would say. So hopefully this thing actually held up. The nice thing about these systems, or anything you buy off of eBay, you really never know what they're going to give you, and you don't know what's going to be on the system because some people don't really factory reset them, so you never really know what you're going to be getting. You could be getting some interesting stuff when you boot up the system, so that will be very interesting. Again, the seller did state that there is some type of case that comes with it. Okay, it's a case that's already on it. It looks like it's some type of a clear case, and it looks like the clear case may be a little bit yellowed from what I'm seeing in real life. I don't know how well it's picking up on camera, but it does look slightly yellowed, which doesn't really concern me because these cases get yellowed anyway, just due to time, due to the sunlight and things like that. But if this seller had this protected all the time, this thing should be in extremely good condition, because the seller did also state to me that this new 3DS XL was pretty much in mint condition. They really never took it out of the house. They only played it on occasion, and they said it's in very good condition. And they also said in the listing that they pretty much had this case on since day one. Since they bought the system, they found this case and slapped it on, and that's that. But I'm gonna go ahead and take off the case so you can see the condition of the actual system to see how well it held up and if there's any scratches or any dents on this system. I am a little bit bummed that the seller didn't actually include a charger, but in all honesty, it really doesn't matter all too much, just due to the fact that I do have a whole bunch of 3DS and DS chargers laying around, so it'd be easy for me to actually charge the system. But here it is right here after taking off the case, and here it is. And under more inspection, I did come to conclusion it is pretty much yellowed. It's more yellowed than I originally thought, but if you look on camera, you can see especially the bottom piece, it is pretty nasty if you ask me, but that's to be expected with clear cases. Clear cases never really hold up all that well, and if you want your system to look good, don't really buy clear cases. But I understand the appeal of clear cases, but this clear case is pretty much shot at this point, but it's still good for protection if you need some protection. You can see it as a two-piece case. But going back to the 3DS itself, or the new 3DS, you can see for the most part it is in extremely good condition. I'm looking at it right here off camera, and I really don't see any damages or any dents, and it pretty much looks like it's in mint condition. This is all you can really hope for when we're talking about a 3DS in general, and I really do like the condition this thing came in. It looks like it came pretty much out of the box brand new as far as I can tell. There may be some slight wear on it, but from what I'm seeing, it's pretty much mint condition. Whoever had this before me really did take care of their new 3DS. It's going to be harder and harder to find a 3DS in good working condition, you know, as time goes on, and I really wanted to pick one up as soon as possible for a number of different reasons. One, I've already stated, I do want to try the homebrew scene for the 3DS, since it is pretty strong and pretty nice. There's a lot you can do with the 3DS if you homebrew it. And then on top of that, I did actually want to check out the eShop, because as you know, with Nintendo products, Nintendo is known to actually cut their online services relatively early compared to other companies, and I really wanted to check out what's left on the eShop, considering the eShop on the 3DS does support Virtual Console, so it is nice to check out some of the games that were on Virtual Console. Fun fact, if you didn't know this already, the new 3DS and the new 2DS are the only systems in the 3DS line that actually do have Super Nintendo support on the Virtual Console. I know a lot of people actually don't bring this up, but if you want Super Nintendo Virtual Console games, you do have to get the new 3DSs or the new 2DS to get that. So that's also why I have this as well, to check out what's on there. And on top of that, I do actually have a lot of games for the 3DS, so I'll have a lot to play already, and this is actually still one of my favorite handhelds of all time, bar none, maybe besides the original PSP. I love this system. I have so many memories with it. I love all the games, and honestly, I think the technology on this has aged pretty well. It's not the best looking system out there, but it's not the worst either. It's pretty good. And then you can see right there is no game. He didn't give me a game in the actual card slot, which is not a big deal to me, because I already knew that in the listing. And then another thing that is nice about any of the 3DSs, they are also backwards compatible with things like the DS line, and the DS has a lot of games. So with the combination of the 3DS games, DS games, Virtual Console, and all the indie games still left on the eShop, there is a lot to play with this system, especially also if you take in consideration what you can do with the homebrew scene. This thing still has a lot of life left in it, and it is still 100% worth picking this thing up. Even if you own something like the Nintendo Switch, I still think these are really worth it. But now let's go ahead and open up the system to see what the condition is on the actual system itself. And yeah, from what I'm seeing is, it looks like it's just very dirty. I don't know if there's a screen protector on here. There may be one applied, but it looks like, from what I'm seeing, is the screens are really, really dirty. Don't know how well that is picking up on camera, but especially the top screen, I'm looking at it, and it's extremely dirty. I'm just going to go ahead and wipe that down a little bit later. Same thing with the bottom screen. Going to go ahead and wipe that down. But as far as I can see, it looks like the inside of it is pretty good, if you ask me, besides the screens being a little bit dirty and a little bit nasty. I'm going to clean those off, like I said. But besides that, it looks like it's in pretty good condition. I don't see any damages or anything to really be concerned about. Now let's actually boot on the system if the system has any juice. And if it doesn't have juice, I am going to actually plug this into the wall so I can actually get this powered on. But let's go ahead and turn the system on for the first time. We'll see if he factory reset it or what he actually did to the system. So here it is. The system is booting on. Let's see if it's factory reset or not. Okay, it's still booting on. Okay, they either factory reset it or not, and from what I'm seeing right now, it looks like this system wasn't factory reset. It looks like it still has some folders on the bottom screen, and it also has some applications. Let's go ahead and actually look around here. So it looks like it has the 3D visual experience from Nintendo, which is a demo of the 3D screens. And then you do have Still Diver Wars, not too sure what that game is. You have YouTube, which I think, as far as I'm aware, YouTube and Nintendo officially cut support for the 3DS, and you can no longer watch videos on here. It's not like it's a big deal because most people have other things to watch YouTube on anyway, but it is what it is. And then it looks like we have a Super Smash Bros. Demo, but let's go ahead and look at all the folders. Looks like we have a demos folder, and in the demos folder, we have some more demos here. Tomodachi Life, which I never played. We have another 3DS demo version, which is weird. And Pokemon Bank. And then besides that, it looks like we have a folder called 3DS games. I wonder if this last seller before me, or the person who previously owned this, actually bought some games digital on the eShop for physical releases. And then retro, indie, and then Nintendo apps. And with the 3DS games, it's very interesting. This was, I do believe, maybe one of the first systems Nintendo ever offered to actually allow you to buy retail games digitally. And I do know the first game that ever was digital on the 3DS was New Super Mario Bros. 2. That one was the first game to ever get a digital release on the eShop. And yeah, that's something that's actually kind of cool. Before we go into the 3DS games, let's actually go into the retro games and the indie games to see what they actually have installed on here. So for the retro games, wow, it actually looks like they have a lot on here, which is actually pretty good. I don't know if I want to reset this system or try to back these games up or do something with them, because it looks like their previous account was still on here for whatever the case may be. Maybe they forgot, maybe they got lazy, I don't know what the case is, or maybe they just wanted to surprise me. I have no idea, but wow, there's a lot of good stuff on here. So let's go over Kirby's Adventure, Kirby's Dream Land, Mario Golf, Super Mario World, and I told you the new 3DS and the new 2DSs are the only ones that allow Super Nintendo support, at least on the eShop officially, for Virtual Console. Then we have another Super Nintendo game, F-Zero, Zelda 4 Swords Anniversary Edition, New Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario Bros. 1, Super Mario Bros. 3, and then WarioWare Touched, which I do believe is a DS game because I played that a long time ago. So it's very interesting. There's a lot of good Virtual Console games on here. And then for the indie releases, it looks like he only bought 2 indie games, which is actually very interesting. He bought Shovel Knight, and then he bought Gunman Clive, and then Kirby Fighter Deluxe, which they did make Kirby Fighters Deluxe 2 on the Switch, which I never played. It's pretty much a ripoff of Smash Brothers, but it's not as exciting as Smash Brothers, but it is cheaper than Smash Brothers, so it is what it is. But there's some of the indie titles right there. And then let's go into the 3DS games, because that's probably all you've been waiting for right now. Let's click on that. And the first game that comes up is Super Mario 3D Land, Kirby's Triple Deluxe, Resident Evil, Donkey Kong Country Returns. I'm actually quite blown away by how many games this guy left on here for some reason. And there's some quality titles on here. New Super Mario Bros. 2, Zelda A Link Between Worlds, Mario Kart 7, Mario Golf World Tour, which there is a new Mario Golf coming to the Nintendo Switch this summer. Yoshi's New Island, Animal Crossing New Leaf. I also want to see if there's some of his game saves on here, because, like, for instance, Animal Crossing New Leaf, I want to see how much he played of Animal Crossing New Leaf. I'm also going to check the eShop to see his account, to see if there's any games that he forgot to download on the eShop that I might be able to re-download. Of course, I'm not going to do it in this video because I don't want to show personal information, but holy smokes, I kind of hit the jackpot, honestly, with this used new 3DS XL. It's in extremely good condition, and on top of that, the last person who used this kept a lot of games on here. Honestly, the best option would be actually starting from scratch, but just due to the fact that he has so many games on here, I may not have actually factory reset this, but I know this is not my account and it's kind of weird how the games are left on here, but I'm just really blown away at this very moment that I got a very good, nice working new 3DS XL. It's in extremely good condition and there's games on here. And it looks like the battery is still at full bar, at least when he shipped it to me, which is interesting. That's the thing about eBay. Like I said, you always take a chance on eBay. Sometimes you get literally crap, and then sometimes you hit the jackpot. Like for instance, me, for some reason, I hit the jackpot. I got a very good working new 3DS XL, and I'm very glad to own this. And I am gonna try to make my collection a little bit bigger and a little bit better with this, because there is still a lot of good games I've yet to play on the 3DS and some of the virtual console games, and of course the homebrew scene. That's also what I bought this for. And yeah, overall it looks again like a very good system. That's pretty much all I want to talk about in this video. Anyway guys, this is Wayne from MyTech News, signing out.